Israeli hostage has been recovered from Gaza, a return that should lead to the reopening of the Rafah crossing, a key entry point for aid into Gaza and part of the agreement announced last October. Israel has said it will only be a limited reopening. Let's cross live to our correspondent in Jerusalem, Noga Tarnopolsky, to find out a bit more. Noga, all of the hostages are now back. So is Israel going to stick to the agreement and reopen this crucial border?
Well, it has given us very mixed messaging, is the truth, Eve. The Israeli government issued a statement just a few hours before the remains of the final hostage were located and brought out of Gaza. And it said basically that once his body returned, that Israel would adhere to the terms of the Trump ceasefire agreement, but then added all kinds of other conditions. This border crossing is between Gaza and Egypt, and it was supposed to be opened quite a while ago. Israel, in fact, has 3 times previously said that Rafah would open between Egypt and Gaza and then not moved ahead to do anything. So this time there does seem to be more American pressure. But again, the Egyptians and the Palestinian Authority are supposed to be in charge of these 2 sides of a border that doesn't touch on Israel, although it has impacted Israel because over the years, it did become a main point of smuggling into Gaza. So Israel has not been unequivocal. It has put a lot of conditions on adhering to this one point. And we're going to have to wait and see, in my estimation, how much pressure the United States puts on Israel. We do know that with authority from the United States, the technocratic new leader of Gaza, Ali Shait, who's supposed to head this government of technocrats now administering Gaza, he did announce that the border would be opened by Thursday, free passage, both sides. So he may have backing to have said that, and we're going to have to wait and see for the rest.
OK, so a lot will rely on that pressure from the United States. But what impact do you think the fact that there are now no Israeli hostages in Gaza, what impact will that have on how Israeli citizens see what's happening in Gaza? You know, where is public opinion on that and what their government may do next?
I think this moment really is a moment of inflection for Israel, where this nightmare of hostage taking, of citizens who were just taken away through a border that collapsed back in 2023, has simply become something that strangled Israeli society. It was unlivable for many, many thousands of people, and probably more than the hundreds of thousands we saw on the street. One possibility that we're seeing initial signs of, there's the budding of a new kind of opposition to Netanyahu, of an insistence that he declare an end to the war. He would lose emergency powers in that case, and there would be really incredible pressure on him to finally move out of the way and allow for the establishment of a commission of inquiry. But that's just in the internal Israeli aspect of this. In the international aspect of there no longer being Israeli hostages in Gaza, what it means is that Israel has to move forward to phase 2, as does Hamas. Phase 2 of the Trump ceasefire plan augurs a very difficult period of decision making. Hamas, that was born and exists as an Islamist armed terror group, is going to have to give up its weapons and see to the disarming of all of Gaza, including other groups like the Islamic Jihad. I foresee that will be quite difficult, and I equally foresee as difficult Israel, according to the terms of this plan, will have to redeploy and leave Gaza, put its, station its soldiers on the outward perimeter of Gaza. For Netanyahu, politically, that will be very difficult. For Hamas, on every level, this will be very difficult. So I expect that initially we're going to see stumbling blocks, and we're going to see from each side, most likely, a bit of feet dragging. Again, waiting to see how serious the Americans really are about putting this plan into place.
Noga Tarnopolsky, thanks very much indeed, our correspondent.